right, welcome to today's episode. It's been an interesting day for me. I had budgeted for some work about maybe 2.5 hours, but about 6 hours later, I am still working through the work that I set out to get it done today. And what I've been doing is building the system as I've done the work. This is the first time that I've ever done this system. It's to basically hire a new team member. I had a bunch of resources, like I bought courses, I've bought books, templates, various lead magnets, things like that, put them all in a resource folder, went through them, and from that was like, okay, well, how's this going to work? And the interesting thing is that mentally, it seemed like a relatively doable thing. Like there was a relatively small amount of work. But what has happened is that 2.5 hours, it's literally taken 6 hours, and I'm not done. But I've had a couple of breakthroughs in terms of building out the structure of the system, of seeing some insights about what should be tracked. One of my cool wins for the day, well, I thought this was pretty cool, was that I had a bunch of applicants come through and they all submitted a zip file that had all their work. And that I was like, oh man, I got to sit there and type them out. I was like, oh, what about if I do a Zapier? I'll do a Zapier and I'll move them into a folder, and all of those people will be created in the shortlist. And it worked. I was like, oh, that's cool. That's cool. So instead of having to type out, I could just load it into this folder and suddenly all of the people would appear. And I actually worked out how to do it in Monday, where you can create a link and it links to that particular person's folder. I was like, oh, this is sweet. But the overall experience has taken a lot longer, like literally a lot longer. And you might go, well, why didn't you just get it done? Surely it's most important just to get it done. If you can do it in 2 hours and you don't have to document anything, why didn't you just get it done? Well, the reason is that I'm not thinking about just this one hire. I'm not just thinking about getting this to work once. I want it to be an asset that can serve my business today, tomorrow, in a week, in a month, in a year. This thing can go on for a while. Like, it is an interesting experience in terms of this asset thinking. It takes a lot more investment up front. There's no doubt about that. 5 hours, 6 hours instead of 2 hours. If that, a problem, maybe it was 1 hour if I'd actually been just like do the work. But this now means that every time I go and deploy this, I'm looking at maybe 20 minutes of work. That if I should desire to hire another team member, it's all set to go. It's all documented. It's all built out. The email responses, the tracking, the Zapier, the challenges themselves, the payment links, all of this stuff is already done. So what might take 6 hours now will take 20 minutes then. And again, every time that I use it, instead of taking 2 hours or 2 hours, 2 hours, 2 hours. So I'm saving about, an hour and a half every time this system gets deployed. And that's the benefit of this whole systems thing. It's like, oh, okay, I'll get it done once so that it works, and then I'll make a massive saving in time when I use it again and again and again. Now, if this is a system that I only literally did once, then there's not much benefit. I would have been better off just not doing it, but that's not what this is about. The other interesting thing is that having built the system, it can be improved. It can also be deployed by others. The instructions are there. There will be also a much easier approach to improving this going forward. There's a couple of looping parts where I had to create a Google form, create the instructions, create like a bunch of stuff that go and a web page. So those three things go together to make one challenge. I'm like, oh, great. Okay, now when I make a challenge, I can see that I need those three things. I need the instructions, I need the web page, and I need the Google form. And it's like, tuk, tuk, tuk. Okay, great. It took me a long time to get that defined, but now having done it once, it's like, oh, there's the template, copy to use. There's the template, copy to use. There's the template, copy to use. And now the other thing that comes to me in this moment is that this is for a general VA. But if I want a video editor or I want a Photoshop guy or whatever it is, like the actual capacity to build the instructions for this next hire, whoever that is significantly improved. So this investment mindset, investing into an asset that I'm going to be able to use over and over and over again, makes this whole systems thing worthwhile. There's also less errors. Guess what? Because the next time I go through, it's like, oh, okay, cool. Yep, let's go. There's less errors. It's documented. The instructions linked to the right things. It's use this email, use that link. It's all there. It's just like building Lego with the instructions, like literally with the instructions, versus Lego without. Like there is only a certain level of Lego that can be built from the box, like maybe a 4+, maybe a 5+. You're certainly not going to get to a 9+ Lego, which isn't that advanced. But if you go into Technic and stuff, oh my goodness, you need the instructions. It's so difficult. But with the instructions, super easy. It makes all the difference in the world. So that's why I'm spending the time. That's why I'm investing more time now in order to get this working, in order to get this operational, because I know that the payoff long term is massive. Think of it like buying a property. Think of it like buying shares in a company. The initial investment goes in and then over time it pays itself back. And then everything after that goes on into your pocket. If you need help with this, if you would like to know how to get the systems mindset and you would like to know how to deploy these systems so that you can get the benefit of having them dialed in your business, perhaps you just want to go on holiday, perhaps you want to go again with another business, perhaps you just want to sell at a high multiple and retire. Any of those 3 options are possible when you get systems mindset. All right, that's all I got for you today. I hope you got some value out of it. I'm going to go continue this work, finish off this hiring system, stoked to have it. And if you are a client, then I'll be sharing this with you, of course, so you'll be able to bring this on board. You will benefit in terms of what it takes about 15 minutes to install a system, and you will have this. All right, look forward to seeing you guys tomorrow. Let's continue this journey into the power of systems to create results. See you then.